Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be just doing a simple kind of get ready with me style video. Just going to do some makeup. I want to do something that revolves around silver. I did get, in addition to the SHISEIDO stick concealer during the sale, I wanted to pick up the silver shadow. I'm kind of always on the hunt for a good silver, so I just wanted to try this. Seems really pretty. I do really like SHISEIDO. I know like nobody really ever talks about their makeup, but like I high-key really like SHISEIDO. I don't know why, I just feel like they're really solid. I don't use them a lot on camera, but like if I travel I pretty much only bring like my SHISEIDO stuff. So for primer, I'm going to use the MAC Studio Radiance primer. It's a primer I do greatly enjoy. It does claim to have moisturizing and illuminating and blurring, which seems, you know, it's like that's a lot of promises, but honestly, it really does feel like it delivers on all three to some extent, which, considering it's from MAC, you know, MAC does have a really solid core range of products. So when I realized how good this was, I guess I can't really say I was surprised considering it's MAC. I know, generally speaking, if I ever buy anything from MAC, I have really high expectations. So it was really nice to see my expectations being met for this product, so I've been using it a lot. And then for under eye primer, I'm just gonna use the one from JACLYN Cosmetics as per usual. So I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty one in Rose Quartz right here. I don't use this very often. It is a little difficult for me to use. It is a little bit drying compared to other under eye correctors I have. This one definitely kind of has the most coverage. You really only need so little for both under eyes, and I like squeezing the air out of my tube so I can see how much is left. But yeah, I spread it out on the back of my hand, and then I'll use a brush to apply it. I have considered getting it in a different shade, maybe one closer to my skin tone, because it does have pretty good coverage. I feel like it would work as a good kind of pre-concealer concealer, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Fenty as a brand, so haven't really bought much from them recently. Valentino foundation, LIGR1. It's the lightest shade, and the R, it means rosy, but I do find this honestly feels more like a neutral foundation. It is very watery, so you do want to make sure you give the bottle a really hefty shake before you use it. I have a mosquito bite on this side of my face, so if you see a really large bump, it's just a mosquito bite. You know how mosquito bites start out as a little tiny dot and then it'll become that very unusual shape, and it's sometimes funny seeing what kind of shapes they end up being. If you see my mosquito bite start to do that, take on a really nice large shape, it's just this bite. I think I likely got bitten within the hour. And whenever mosquitoes bite my face, they always bite the perimeter of my face, which I guess I should be grateful for, because imagine if I got bit like right here. It'd be so obvious. They're so annoying, but at least they go away faster than pimples. I don't know in what world this is considered rosy toned foundation, because you can see on me it is very much not rosy. It does claim to be more of like a matte foundation, but my skin is currently super like hydrated, super glowy, so it takes on a lot of that glow underneath. So foundation on, concealer's next, and I'm going to use the SHISEIDO concealer stick, which I've been testing, and today I'm just going to see what happens if I just kind of rub it on. I used a brush to apply it the other day, but I went straight in with the stick this time. Nordstrom had a sale that included the Surratt concealer brush, so when it arrives I'm gonna test that. That for sure is flat. Okay, so looking down, I feel like the coverage is not like ultra full. I'm also kind of interested in the Ritual Defy concealer foundation balm thingy-majig. Or maybe my standards for coverage are just unrealistic. But here's what it looks like. It honestly doesn't look bad. It's just that if I can see the groove, I don't like it. I want a concealer that has such high coverage that it covers up this groove that you see here, which is very common for us Asians to have. I think I just need to brush up on my Dear Peachy tutorial on how to cover this groove up, because I know people can do it. But yeah, you can see I feel like it's not completely covering the darkness, or I'm not using it properly. So I'm gonna continue to practice, try and get better, learn some new techniques, watch some videos, see what I can glean from this. Hollywood contour wand. And after I push out product through the tube, I turn it so that I don't accidentally push out any more, because that is the last thing I want to do to myself. And I'm just going to lightly apply it, because honestly it's so easy for me to overdo this. I'm looking back on some of my older videos where I would literally draw it down the side of my face, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm surprised none of you guys called me out in the comments because I think that was a little bit heavy. So now I just go back to applying kind of dots, and I think that looks so much better on me. I totally just got over eager and overexcited, and I apply so much of this, so much more than I should. Just a little 2 dots on my chin. I don't want to look like I have a beard, but I do like having, I do like sharpening my chin a little bit. I lift the tip, I just kind of make my nose look a little bit more upturned that way. So like kind of just slimming my jawline. I do like to make sure my jawline looks a little bit slimmer, so I'll just draw a dot there. And then I stipple fairly quickly, like I look like I'm like smacking my face. I just wish it wasn't like the spongy tip. I just feel like it's kind of gets gross after a while, and like I'm not sure how to clean it. And then like the old product from the prior use, you know, will eventually dry, and so it's kind of like you just have layers upon layers of crusty product. But yeah, that's the contour wand. I do really like it a lot. And this is the new IT Cosmetics Rose Quartz thing. I got it during the 10x points promotion because I really wanted it. I do really like IT brushes for Ulta, but, and I'll make a mini review about this, I feel like these are not as good. I feel like their quality went down. I'm gonna use some lip balm. I forgot to put on lip balm. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to eyebrows. I have rattled on for long enough. So I recently got well no, I'm sorry, I am mildly stressed today. Put on some eye primer first. Rare Beauty primer. Let me also powder my under eyes so that nothing moves. I'm gonna use the MCGRATH one. I've just been enjoying it lately, so I've been getting plenty of use out of it, which is good because it was expensive, you know. We love somebody who actually uses the products that she buys. I acknowledge my channel is technically promoting consumerism, so I try to use what I have. But makeup is one of my big hobbies. So I also powdered the center of my face because I powdered like my forehead, my nose, my chin, and under my eyes because it's humid. Also, when I'm filming this, the NATASHA DENONA Dream Collection got revealed. I got you guys. Don't worry. Okay, so I went through and I swatched my Sydney Grace shimmers, and it seems I'm just misremembering the texture because even the shimmers also felt a little bit harder pressed, but when I actually swatched them and blended them out on my arm, they felt completely fine. So I think I'm just forgetting the texture that Sydney Grace usually has, which makes me want to maybe during like a sale or something buy one of their palettes and just kind of confirm for myself if there's formula changes. So like a really protracted and expensive science experiment. I really want the Fancy Face palette. That's why I've been going on this crusade, is because I really want that one, but of course it's pretty pricey. But today I'm going to use, I have cat hair on my lips. Today I'm going to use the other Sydney Grace Temptalia palette I own. It's going to be Quintessence. And it's this one right here, and actually I forgot, there's actually a really bright silver in here, and it is a nice silver, and it's literally, I kid you not, it's going to be the exact same as the silver I got from SHISEIDO, which makes me a clown. I'm sure the SHISEIDO ones will have a different texture, and I'm sure the finishes will be ever so slightly microscopically different that I will feel like I have 2 separate eyeshadows. Look at the silver is literally the same. Nobody said that you had to be smart to start a YouTube channel, so here I am. Okay, so I'm going to take this big brush, and this is totally not an eyeshadow brush, but I'm going to go in with Parallax right here, and I'm just going to wash this all over my eyelid. And for some reason, I got it into my head that I should go on a journey to find the best silver eyeshadow. My favorite one is actually the one from Sultry, but for pretty obvious reasons, I don't feature that palette anymore. And if I remember correctly, you can't even get that palette anymore. So even if I wanted to, I'd be featuring an eyeshadow palette no one can use. And I'm just kidding, I'm not going to do that because it's not an eyeshadow brush and it's not really working. Okay, I wiped a brush off using my leg, which I'm sure is a very scientifically sound method of cleaning your brush. And I'm going to use this fluffy brush to apply it and try and make sure I diffuse it. I literally just said I was going to do my eyebrows, didn't I? And then I didn't. Okay, well let me put on this matte shadow and then I'll go back and do my eyebrows because I'm dumb. I really need to restructure when I film because if I film this late in the evening, my medications have worn off because I either have 2 4-hour pills or I have an extended release 8-hour pill. Neither of them are going to work when it's 8:30, 8:45, 9 at night and I'm filming. I feel like it's so difficult for me to keep my thoughts coherent, and it's so difficult for me to remain on topic in a video, and then that leads to me rambling. It makes it difficult for me to edit, and then I ultimately just can't really pull together like a coherent video. And I know not everybody minds necessarily videos that are nothing but chaos, but it also is mentally exhausting to me to have to try to remember where I am and what I was talking about as I'm filming, and I feel like that sometimes compromises my ability to really think about the makeup I want to use. Okay, yeah, so this shadow, it's doing okay. I don't know, somehow I feel like, I know a lot of people hype up Sydney Grace's mattes, but to me they just feel okay. I'm not really feeling like blown away by them. They just feel so hard pressed, and then it feels like it really does take me quite a while to get them to blend out if I pack it on. I don't know, it just doesn't really feel, it's not really blowing me away. I know so many people really love Sydney Grace's matte formula, but I never really understood the hype. They're not bad, I just feel like they're not like amazing, which admittedly they're not really that expensive. Sydney Grace's shadow prices are honestly really fair. Okay, let me do my brows really quickly. I'm gonna use the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade Cool Gray, which is there a number? I don't see a shade number, I just see Cool Gray. I'm gonna do it. I'm probably just gonna skip right through it because I was supposed to do my brows earlier. So I'm probably just gonna cut it all out and skip right to my brows being done, and then I'll talk about this in like a mini review. Okay, I have been having issues with doing my left eyebrow recently. I feel like I never can put the arch in the right place compared to my right eyebrow, but that's okay. But I finished doing my eyebrows. I bought Cool Gray as opposed to like, I think I didn't see a black shade, or maybe I just can't read, but I got Cool Gray as opposed to a black, and I think it doesn't look half bad. It's not dark like blacks usually are on me. It's definitely like, the gray is definitely kind of like, I'm not used to it, but I guess for you guys, it's a lot softer than what I usually go for, so I could get behind it, so I'll keep using it. Okay, yeah, I am so disappointed in the brow flick. I just remember it being so much better than it used to be. I really have to like work it before the ink will flow, and even then I feel like the ink starts to flow inconsistently. But here's what it looks like. It looks okay, so let me work on the eyeshadow. So I'm going to add some darkness now. I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade goes on pretty good. And I'm just going to kind of keep it low, close to the lash line like this. I don't really want it to be too dramatic. This shadow performs really well, so I think I just am misremembering the normal consistency of Sydney Grace shadows. I just somehow got into my head that they are super creamy and soft, and so when they felt more hard pressed, I was confused, but I think it's just me misremembering. Because as you can see, this shade goes on completely fine, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, okay, like that. So my eyes are looking a little bit downturned right now with the eyeshadow, but that my eyes naturally are kind of triangular shaped, so I will be fixing that with lashes or mascara later. Trust me, that usually kind of remedies the problem. So that's gonna be the eyeshadow. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that, and if I need to use more mattes on top of that, I'll add it in later, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this shimmer shadow. I'm very excited. I'm going to try a brush first. This is in the shade 07 Shari-Shari Silver, and I'm going to just go in with this as the point shade of the look. Picks up really well on the brush. I definitely have really high expectations. SHISEIDO is not a cheap brand, and so this eyeshadow obviously is not very cheap. It was somewhere in the ballpark of like 20 bucks or so for this for me. I'm just gonna put this in the center. Ooh, it's so pretty, and like, it's not really got much powdery kick up in the pan at all. It feels very creamy and not like true cream to powder, but it just feels very nice and creamy in its consistency, so it's not going to give fallout, and it blends out super easily. I'm just gonna diffuse it out, and it starts to become more like a topper as I go further and further out. That's what that looks like. And it really smooths out the texture on my eyelid as well, which is really cool, and definitely something I would expect from SHISEIDO. Just put the excess product on my eyelid, and then I'll go back in. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need a finger for this. I may use my finger anyways just to see what it does. Like, I'm just curious, but with just this brush, I can really manipulate this shadow so well. Okay, wow, this is super pretty. And I'm gonna use my finger now. Very, very smooth feeling. Super, super smooth. See if I just can add an extra layer of intensity. Although, I mean, honestly, it already went on super well with just a brush. I don't really see how much more a finger can add. Yeah, you can see that's what this is looking like now. This silver is everything. It's not like hyper foiled, but it still just has a really beautiful finish. It's still super shiny. It almost feels like it's got a wet effect is what it feels like to me, where it's not like metallic foiled, but it definitely still is very nice and dark. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to now go in. I want to use a matte black, and I know what black I want to use. Hold on. I'm going to use Spot and Biba. It's a really easy black to work with, so I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use an angled brush, kind of enhance what's on my lash line, make it look really dark and smoky. So I'm going to go back over and we'll see how shadows layer on top of this silver. Yeah, I can put shadow on top of it so easily, so I'm adding black. I'm gonna add it to the lower lash line as well, and I'm really hugging the lash line with this black color. Then I'm gonna line the inner corner, and I really want to kind of... This is really hard if you have monolids, but I still am trying to work on figuring out how best to do this. It's not easy because the fold gets in the way. It looks super fake because of the fact that your fold is super obvious, and people can like see the contour of your fold interrupting the line. Okay, I got some black fallout because I was really piling on that black. So let me just brush it off really quick. Yeah, so for something like this, black eyeshadow is definitely not going to be ideal. I got a pretty fair amount of black fallout, which, I mean, oh well. I'm not really super bothered by it, but I can definitely see how some people would be. It's not too obvious unless you look up close to my face, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay, so this is what my eyes are looking like right now. Definitely really cool. It'll look a lot better when the lashes are on, trust me. I don't really do super dramatic inner corner liner like I see some people do because my eyes are already really close together, so I just don't have room before I start hitting, I start hitting the side of my nose. But I tried it. I haven't done this in a while, and I practice before I like go to bed. I try and practice, so I feel like I've gotten better since the last time I tried this. It's really not easy. If you have epicanthic folds, it truly is like doing it on like extra ultra hard mode, but I really had to give it another try. So now I'm gonna put on some kind of eyeshadow on the lower lash line. For that, I wanna use on camera formally the About Face Fractal Eye Paint. I have the shade Tin Pan Alley, which is just such a beautiful champagne. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. I applied it off camera when I used it because I completely forgot to demo it on camera, but let me show you. I just kind of dot it on the middle of my lash line like this. Like, I don't really even feel like I need to like super blend it. I just dab it on with the tip of the applicator right in the center, and then just kind of, so it doesn't look totally weird, I'm going to take just like a thin flat brush and I kind of just like dab the ends a little bit. It sets kind of fast, but at the same time you do have plenty of working time, and I'm just going to just make sure the edges are dabbed out a little bit. Sometimes I like to kind of pull it down a little bit so it almost looks like I have glitter tears or something, and that's what that looks like. It is so pretty. I love using this on my lower lash line to highlight the middle of my eye, and then I just kind of use a finger just to take off any excess glitter, and I love how this looks on me. And I haven't used this I haven't even used it on my upper eyelid yet, just because I love how it looks on my lower lashes, but here's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna put on some lashes. I'm gonna do all of that off camera. I'll be back, and then we'll finish off my face of makeup. We're back with the lashes on. I'm wearing Cloud9 version 1.0, which, as I've said in other videos, is my preferred version of Cloud9, so I'm very glad I have these. I think I have a couple of these, which is nice. I stocked up when I heard they were gonna go away, so I just think they're so wispy and short. They have a slight taper where they're shorter in the front and a little longer in the middle and back, so you can tell it definitely opens up my eyes, really transforms the look for me. I have this Clinique eyeliner in Intense Black. I don't like it, but it came as a gift with purchase, so I use it. I don't really want to use a liquid liner today because I don't want it to look too harsh, but I do want some black wing just to kind of accentuate my look. So you can see I'm just adding it right there. I feel like it's a really grayish black. It does not feel true black to me at all. I really want to get into my habit, I really want to establish a habit of using my gel liners more often as opposed to constantly looking for liquid liners and pencil liners. I just keep forgetting to. But yeah, that's going to be the wings. As you can see, I just draw the ends, and the false lashes kind of make it so I only need to draw the ends. And also because I have monolids and I have all this beautiful eyeshadow on, I don't want to cover it all up, so just the ends. And I honestly think it looks fine. You don't really need to draw a whole thing of eyeliner, especially if you have lashes on. The lashes provide plenty of definition. Not so sure what blush color is going to look the best. I'm going to go ahead and take my hair down because I don't want it to dry with a crimp in it. So I'm afraid I might have already, I think it might already have crimps in it from the hair clips. It's just like one straight line. You can really see where my little clips dug in. I thought maybe using these it wouldn't cause it to get a crimp in it, but no, it still caused it. The metallic Shiseido shadows do tend to have this finish a lot, and it's a finish I don't really see replicated by other brands very easily. It looks wet and glossy, but it's not glittery, it's not toppery, and it's not foiled. So it's just such an interesting finish that seems kind of particular to Shiseido as far as I have experienced. Okay, so let me pick a blush. Cool smoky look like this is going to pair well with either like a beige blush and then you keep it neutral, or a bright pink blush. And I didn't powder my face yet, so I'm going to go into this Patrick Ta Holiday blush palette, and I'm going to use this shade up here. You can get these as singles. I personally like that I have this palette because his singles have a lot more product and I never run through an entire blush. So I am very lightly adding a light layer of the cream because I didn't powder my face yet. And I'm just going to apply it in a small area as kind of like a core shade. I do like his cream blush formula. It is quite nice. It doesn't take off what's underneath. It blends out pretty easily, and it's not like super like slimy or like greasy feeling. Okay, so I look like I have little clown cheeks, and now I'm going to go in with my Spectrum little diffuse brush, and I'm going to use the powder. Now his powders are significantly more pigmented than his creams, so I'm just going to lightly dust it around the edges of the cream. Create almost like a wash, like a watercolor wash, and I'm just using very small quantities at a time, barely touching the pan, and then I just diffuse it out. And I'm keeping it mostly kind of right here. I'm not really wrapping it around my face this time. And now I haven't set my face yet, so I'm gonna do highlighter and then I'll put on setting powder, and I'm going to make sure I use the setting powder to kind of blend out the blush that I pushed too low. That'll really help. So for highlighter, I'm going to use the Shiseido Aura Dew and Solar, 02 Solar. I believe this is discontinued, which is a real shame. It is such a beautiful formula. Fell out of the packaging. Does that mean it's dried up, or is it just it fell out? I'm sad. Oh, you know what? I store my Shiseido products upside down so I can see the shade names. And I bet after storing it upside down for long enough, gravity finally was like, okay, you're coming down with me. I bet it's because of that. I'll just have to be really careful when I use it that I don't ever like tip it while I'm using it so that it doesn't fall out. Thankfully, it being in a jar, there's no real reason for me to ever tilt it. But like, I'll have to be very careful when I tilt it at the camera. It's too bad. I can't replace it now. This is basically a sheer topper with very little base underneath it, so it's so pretty as a highlighter. It also works really well on the eyes. It's very flattering on the eyes if you want some kind of topper. It kind of reminds me of like a less chunky version of Fractal Freesia. So you can especially see on my cheeks, it really gives that perfect dewy glow, while in and of itself it claims it's a cream to powder, but it really just feels more like a creamy powder. There is a stopper, however, so you definitely still want to save that. Okay, well, I will have to be really careful about this highlighter from now on. Loose powder, I'm going to use the JACLYN Roxanne powder. I'm particularly going to focus first on blending out these cheeks. Okay, so you can see now I blended out and kind of softened up the blush at the bottom of my face, so it looks like it goes a lot less like kind of low, and it overall is a little bit less intense. All that's left now is to line my lips. I'm going to use Buxom Incognito. Really enjoying using this lately. I think I've used like only this for the past several videos, but I like it. Okay, I need to think of a color to use. I'm thinking that something a little bit more nude-ish might be the best for this. I think I'm just gonna go with this. This is the Juicy Lasting Tint in Mute Mold Peach. My lips are still glossy from the balm, and I've been having really dry lips lately, so I'm just gonna keep my lips nice and hydrated. Yeah, you can see this shade is really close to my lip tone. And then I feel like my lips still could use a little something just right in the center. So I'm gonna take a really dark shade and I'm gonna put that in the center of my lips. And I think what I'm going to use for that is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Red Velvet. This is a very red lip gloss. It's perfect for like red vampy lips. And I really like to use it on the center of my lips to add some contour. When I use it on the inner part of my upper lip, I keep it away from the center and I only do it on the sides, and this really just helps to shape my lips and make them look a bit more kind of just plump and structured. So this is gonna be the finished look. I definitely really like how the eyes turned out, and I think overall my end makeup look is really cohesive. I do really like it. I think it turned out really great. My lips ended up being a little darker than I intended, which always ends up happening, but I think that's fine. I hope you guys had fun watching me just play with eyeshadow, do a silver eyeshadow point look using a single. I know, revolutionary. I definitely have enjoyed just relaxing with my singles because they never get enough love and I really need to make sure I use them. So I thought that'd be really fun. This is just such a truly magical finish of eyeshadow. As you can see, it just looks so wet and glossy and dewy, but also it's smooth and it's so pretty. Definitely something that I find, this is one of the reasons I really like SHISEIDO. I used to use their quads all the time because the shimmers in the quads more or less gave off an effect like this, just so pretty. I should definitely do a YouTube video sometime where I break those out again. It has been years since I've used them. This is going to be the makeup look. If you guys have any questions about this look, please feel free to ask. I do want to continue to practice my inner corner liner, and if I ever get good enough that I feel like I can confidently teach people a good way to do it and make it look good, I'll make a video on it, but in the meantime, I'll keep practicing. That'll be it from me. I hope you guys will stick around for the next video. I'm always constantly playing with makeup and coming up with new makeup looks, so please feel free to stick around. I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video, and yeah, that'll be it from me. Bye guys!